All right, my Sonder fam, welcome to our Saturday evening weekly setup. We are going to set up week 51, believe it or not, of 2023. We're rolling, rocking and rolling almost at the end. So I saw lots of people kind of talking about the weather as we get closer to Christmas and the end of the year. And I saw Brenda saying it's warm in Minnesota. It was 62 here in Denver, although we did have snow. I think it was like Wednesday and Thursday. So our weather's a little wacky. I looked at the forecast and it's going to be probably in the high 50s all week, which is not very exciting for me as we kind of gear up for the holidays. But that's okay, right? I'll take what we get. You never know what's going to happen. So, welcome everyone. I don't know if anyone is brand new to Silk and Sonder, brand new to our socials. You can let us know in the chat. Just say me or I'm new. This is my first social. We love to have these weekly setups. We do these often on Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes Monday mornings, just so that you can really get a chance to get your week set up, get things taken care of, and get all ready to jump into that week. And I know that this week for a lot of us is a little crazy. I know with Christmas being on Monday, seems like it's kind of confusing or wacky. And like, I don't know if it makes it better or worse that there's a weekend right before Christmas to get ready, but I know it's a big week. So hopefully this will help you get all set up to be successful for the week. So I do want to remind everyone to set your chat to everyone, that little blue box down there, right? So make sure that that says everyone. If it just says host and panelist, that means the only people that will see what you write are myself and my fabulous stage manager with me here tonight, Jennifer O. She's coming to us from Texas, where it was probably warm today, I'm guessing. Also, she's going to pop on. She'll give us a little wave. So she'll be helping in the chat if you have any questions, maybe need me to go back to another slide. You can also use the Q&A box for questions as well. So, oh, Jennifer said it was 67 in the yeah, it was 62 here. So we weren't that far behind you. So a few community guidelines. We want to make sure that this is a safe and supportive space for everyone, right? So, oh, it was 63 in Philly, right? So the weather is just kind of crazy. Lisa, where are you? She says it's 72. I'm hoping not someplace where it should be cold. Monterey. Okay, so that's not too bad. So with our guidelines, we ask that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and others. There's no promotion or spam. We respect everyone's privacy, no hate speech or bullying. We limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. The best place to ask those kinds of questions is in Sonder Club, because then you can get a really wide variety of people telling you what pins they like to use, stickers, washi tape, they're plugging in links, all of those kinds of things. And I do want to remind you, if folks pop links and that kind of thing into the chat, that we can't really be responsible for what those links take you to. I mean, I think everybody is on the up and up, but just be cautious, especially this time of the year when, sometimes there's some unscrupulous folks out there. So if you have any customer care inquiries, be sure to direct those to hello@silkandsonder.com. Jennifer and I don't have access to your accounts. We can't look up billing stuff. We can't look up, shipping, those kinds of things. So any of those questions, please send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com. Just know that they are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 crew. So if they don't get right back to you, just have a little patience. I know sometimes in this world we're wanting instant gratification, but just give them a little bit of time and they will get back to you. Also, remember that Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of the community. And we have a fabulous community, right? But ultimately, you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. If anything is stressing you out during this social, I hope I don't stress you out. Or if you're just not feeling maybe doing a particular section, or you're like, I don't even feel like doing my to-do list, right? You can just listen to the music, you can color, you can do whatever. This is just that hour where we're all together. It gives you a little bit of time to work on what you want to work on, carving out that time so that we can be together. And we really appreciate you spending your time with us on a Saturday evening, or it might be afternoon if you're on the West Coast, right? So, you know, this month's theme has been celebration. And I love how so many people are really embracing this idea of celebrating not just big things, not just official holidays, not just, birthdays, anniversaries, those kinds of things, but you can celebrate making your bed this morning. You can celebrate getting out of bed this morning. You can celebrate, um, the fact that you did the dishes right before you went to bed, right? Lots of things to celebrate and lots of ways to celebrate ourselves, right? And I think that's so, so important. We need to celebrate the little wins, the big wins, the medium wins, all of those things in between. So hopefully you've been getting lots of good ideas for celebrating. Oh, yes, Peggy is celebrating that she remembered she'd signed up for this tonight. Yes, yay, excellent celebration, right? Um, all of those little things. And it's so important for us to take time to celebrate. So here's what we have on the agenda for tonight. We're going to do our mind map, which we do every weekly setup, where we talk about a way to dig a little bit deeper into the month's theme in different areas of your life. So we'll do that. We'll do our rosebud thorn reflection, and then we'll dig into that week 51 setup. And remember, lots of different ideas. We show you lots of different real life examples of things that folks have done. It's great when you share in the chat, like, here's how I use the major 3 goal sections, or here's how I do, whatever. It gives people lots of ideas, right? And I do want to emphasize there is no wrong way to set up your journal. It is your journal 100%. None of us are going to come and knock on your door and tell you you did it wrong and take away your journal and give you a demerit. That's not a thing, right? It's totally for you. And some weeks you might set it up one way, and another week you might set it up differently. So remember, this is for you, and your journal should never be a source of stress, right? Your journal is supposed to be there to help you, to make you feel good, to help you celebrate, right? So I always use these 2 little pictures, these 2 little drawings. It's from an artist named The Latest Kate, and she has these very cute little motivational things. And I think it's really important to emphasize, first of all, there's room for you here just as you are. If you're having a great week, things are going awesome, you've got all your holiday shopping done, you've got everything wrapped, you've got the tree up, you're like rocking it, you got a new job, your kids are doing great, like all of those kinds of things, right? Share that with us. We love to celebrate. We love to enjoy how much fun and all the great things that our members are doing. Conversely, we know that life is not always a series of ups, right? There's lots of ups, but there's also lots of downs. Sometimes things might not be going your way. We definitely have had folks who have lost jobs, folks who are struggling with health, or they have a loved one struggling with health issues. Folks, have had, car troubles, or all the different kinds of things, pipes freezing, needing some sort of repair, people in the house, all those kinds of things, right? Share those with us too. Don't feel like something is too sad or too depressing, or you don't want to bum anybody out. We're here to support you. Sometimes just hearing from somebody else saying, like, "Whew, girl, I know I have had the same thing happen," or that I totally can identify with that, right? That is so important sometimes, to know that we're not alone in some of the things that we're struggling with. My other little picture reminds us that the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. No one can tell you how you should or shouldn't feel about something. No one can say, "Oh, you shouldn't be sad because," or "you shouldn't be mad about this," or "this shouldn't," right? Like, no one can tell you that. Your feelings are yours, and you need to feel the feelings that you have. So feel free to share those with us also in the chat. We're here for feeling the feels, right? So let's dive into our celebration mind map. So if you haven't done this before, this is on a blank page in your journal. There's not a specific page that has this information on it. This is exclusive just to our socials that we do, right? And I'll show you some examples of ways that people have set this up. So we're thinking about things that occurred in 2023 and how celebration can play a part in that. So this is week 3 of the 4 weekends we're using it. I know technically there's 5 weekends in the month, but the last weekend we're going to dive into something that's going to take us into the January theme, but I'm not going to tell you, no spoilers. So this week we are going to focus on week 3, which is what has ceased to be a part of your life this year and what has emerged in its place to enrich your existence. And this is a little bit of a tricky one, right? And you can see the last 2 weeks there as well. So I also always tell folks, be sure you can take like screenshots, or you can take a picture with your camera if you want to make sure that you remember some of these slides so that you can go back. So here's some examples of ways folks have set up their mind map, right? Again, knowing that there's 4, some people, kind of divide it into those quadrants, have week 1, 2, 3, 4 with a cute little sticker in the middle. We've got a little Santa Claus in the middle that is super cute. We've got a Christmas tree going. We've got some balloons if we want to have just overall celebration. And then we've got some fun Christmas lights in the little string that go around. So lots of fun ways to set those up. So again, it doesn't have to be fancy, right? You can also do this maybe on your weekly scratch pad section in your journal. You can do this on the definition page of celebration on page 3. Maybe you want to do it on the quote page. Maybe you want to just do it on sticky notes. Taylor said she did it on page 22, right? Again, no wrong way to set this up, but no, every month we're going to have some sort of a mind map. Generally speaking, it's 4 weeks. We'll try to give you a heads up ahead of time if there's going to be a 5-week one, because sometimes there are, but you can just kind of get that, just know that that'll be a thing, right? So here's some things I want you to think about as you're working on this section. Sometimes good things fall apart, so better things can fall together, right? So what are some things that you're no longer doing this year, either by choice or by circumstance? Maybe it's the loss of a job. Maybe it's a relationship that didn't work out. Maybe it's a loss of opportunities. And I'm not saying that you should say these were good things or be happy about them. But what I want you to do is to think about what has come from that thing ending. All right. And if it's something fairly recent, maybe you don't know yet. So I want you to kind of think of what could come. What's something that could come from that thing ending, right? And then the quote about when one door closes, another door opens, but we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the ones which open for us. So I want you to kind of be thinking about that idea of what may be opening for you, what better thing may be there. Again, if it hasn't happened yet, the bad thing has happened, the thing that you're no longer doing is over. What are some potential things that might be good that could come of this? All right. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. Feel free to share in the chat if you feel comfortable doing that. You don't have to. If you're still not sure, maybe just close your eyes and just kind of think of that while I play this little song, and you can kind of see maybe what comes later. Maybe this is something that a couple weeks down the road or a month down the road will become more clear. So I'll let you work on that. We'll check back in here in just a few minutes, and feel free again to share with us in the chat. All right. Thank you all so much for sharing in the chat. I know that some of you may still be thinking or may still be kind of trying to find the thing that emerged in its place that is now enriching your existence. And that's okay. We had folks talking about different exercise groups that ended, or I was trying to think of some of the other things that folks had shared, leaving a social group that wasn't fun and then focused on her volunteer work and then feeling better about that. See, I was just kind of scrolling back through here. Continuing to celebrate a new job when the old one ceased, and now she has weekends. Right? So that can be very exciting, right? Different things to let go. And remember, change is just a part of life. That's just a thing that happens. And that's something that I have definitely noticed more and more as I get older, right? Because as you get older, there's more things to change, right? There's more of an opportunity for change. That's just kind of how that works. So we've definitely had, businesses that have been around for a long time have closed, restaurants that we used to really enjoy. Folks have retired and decided to close the restaurant. And sometimes it feels like, everything is just, it's just horrible and everything's changing and this is so much. But just really being able to understand that things will change. That's just a fact of life. Sometimes they change faster than others, and sometimes they change in ways you don't really want them to change, but really trying to focus on what is something now that is taking that place, what is something that comes from the ending, right? So hopefully been able to kind of spend a little bit of time with that. And again, this is something that might be good to reflect on for these next couple of weeks, kind of thinking about things that are have changed and how you'll move forward with that. So let's do our rose, bud, and thorn activity. This is on page 44. If you have the December journal, I see someone is new and they just have January journal, which is absolutely fine. You can do this on, like a blank page, or you can do this on a sticky note. It's always something that we do at the end of each week to just spend a few minutes thinking about our last week, right? And kind of what things, the good and things we're looking forward to. So I always kind of like to do it the opposite way, talk about the thorn first and then get to the rose. So the thorn is something that's been a challenge. Maybe it's something out of your control, something that's frustrating, something that's irritating, something you wish would go away, right? And so that's just, you can kind of fill that in. For me lately, for the past several weeks, it's been work. I work for a school district. I'm in administration. We had an exceptionally frustrating board meeting last week. And it's just definitely a thorn, and I can't wait for my bud, which is winter break, which technically the kiddos got out on Friday was their first day of break, but I'll be doing some work next week, but then I'll have that week of Christmas off. So definitely looking forward to that. That definitely is a bud that I'm looking forward to. And my rose, I actually stage managed for Malika, one of our other facilitators who did a social this week. And she was trying to come up with a song to use for her opening. And so since we were going to be working on the extraordinary day page in the journal, I said, why don't you why don't you play the song Perfect Day from Legally Blonde? And so then we were kind of talking about how much we love that movie. And then lo and behold, um, the other night when I turned on the TV, Legally Blonde was just starting. And so I watched it again and it was so fun. I'd forgotten how good that movie was. It was from back in 2001, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I realized it was. But I forgot how good it was. It's just such a fun movie. And then I found this quote about watching your favorite movies over and over is good for you. The repetition calms you because knowing the outcome of a story helps you feel safe in an unpredictable world, and it comforts you by recapturing the lost feeling. So one of the things, if you're wanting something to look forward to, if you want that bud, that emerging opportunity, maybe you can think of something, maybe a movie that you really love that you haven't watched for a long time, and that can be something that you look forward to. So I'll play just a little bit of music, let you work on filling this out. Feel free to share if you would like in the chat what your rose, your bud, or your thorn, or all three, right? And we'll check back in here in just a moment. all so much for sharing those rose, bud, and thorns from the past week. I know some folks are, dealing with sick pets, which is certainly stressful and upsetting. My mom had to make that tough decision for her cat who was really struggling, and so that was very hard for her. And it's never an easy decision, and it's not fair that our pets can't live as long as we do, right? Some folks, kind of dealing with daughter's school getting a bomb threat and having to be evacuated, very stressful. So that's definitely, those thorns. And again, those happen, but then also remembering the buds that are happening. So folks are kind of talking about things that they're looking forward to, um, planning for fun and vacation in 2024. Maybe it's winter break, right? A lot of folks are kind of looking forward to that. Um, 4-day work weeks coming up. So that is also an exciting thing that folks are looking for. Folks getting back, the rose for a lot of folks getting back good medical news, those kinds of things. Birthdays, other things to celebrate, remembering those celebrations. So this is always a good activity. And like I said, we always do this in the weekly setup just to give you a chance to be able to think about those good things that are in your life as well as the struggles. And then this is always a good page to look back at when you do your monthly. When you get January's journal and you're looking back at December, this is a good quick place to look, to help remind you what you did in the month of December, right? Sometimes we tend to rush forward and we forget. So let's dive into that weekly planner there. We're going to be on page 46. And again, if you don't have December's journal, don't worry. You can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like in January, taking some notes, those kinds of things to kind of see what this is going to look like as you start to fill it out in the month of January. So the first thing we take a look at is how we want to feel. And I always say this is kind of your intention for how you want to show up for the week, right? Like, what is that feeling you want to feel throughout the week? And I'll talk a little bit about this. And then I'll also talk about the 3 goals, because I think it's really important to kind of set your goals, to set up your goals to help you feel that feeling. So the feeling can be, maybe it's one word, maybe it's several words, maybe it's a mantra or an affirmation. Maybe it's just a sticker that reminds you of kind of how you want to feel. Maybe it's a picture, it's something you want to focus on. It can be a quote, right? Lots of different ideas. One person has a different feeling for each day. You can totally do that. One person has like fun in the sun. Maybe it's just realigned, self-love, progress. I want to feel okay, 100% awesome, right? It's totally up to you. Yes, and these can be emotions. It's just feelings, right? How you want to feel for the week coming up. So sometimes when people have been ill, maybe they want to feel healthy. Maybe they want to feel energetic. Maybe they want to feel productive, right? Those kinds of things. So here's some examples of ways that people have integrated the feeling into their 3 goals, right? So we have one person who they want to feel present and grounded. So their goals are breathe, move, and notice. We have one person who wants to feel celebrate or celebrated, right? And so their 3 goals are going to be to celebrate health, to celebrate family, and to celebrate vacationing. Another person wants to feel invigorated. So they have in their major 3 goals, they have a mind, body, and a soul goal to help them have that feeling. Encouraged, right? And then they have the 3 goals to go with that. Joyful, they have a do, love, and be goal to kind of, again, elevate that feeling. And I see some folks kind of putting in the chat how they want to feel for the week. So wanting to feel intentional, fun, and festive, energetic, right? Those different kinds of things. And then here's some other examples of things that people have put down for goals. Things like enjoying time with family, sharing gratitude with others, and rest. Move, be patient, and connect. A lot, again, people like to do kind of the mind, body, spirit. You could also have maybe a home and a work goal. I like the left brain, right brain, and no brain goals. Those are kind of fun. And again, maybe you have some goals somewhere else, and so you don't necessarily want to write them here. So you could repurpose this section with, maybe it's 3 new vocabulary words you want to include. Maybe it's you're learning a new language, so you want to put 3 new words in your new language down. Maybe it's movies or TV shows that you want to watch. It's a playlist for the week, 3 fun activities, anything along excuse me, anything along those lines. So, so I'm going to just go ahead. I'll cycle through these, play a little bit of music. You can work on your, how you want to feel and your weekly major 3 goals. We'll check back in. Feel free to share in the chat, and we'll see how everything is going here in just a few moments. All right, I saw lots of folks helping out when someone was saying, like, what's another word for, this, and and everybody's kind of popping up with all sorts of fun words. So hopefully you found again, it can be just one word, it can be multiple words, it can be a whole sentence, it can be an affirmation, right? But just that idea of your presence as you go through the week, what would you want someone to say about you, right? Or what would you want people to be like, oh, she looks so blank, right? So my word that I picked for this week is going to be festive, right? And I want to kind of have that festive mood, even though it's going to be hard because it's going to be in the high 50s, I think, all week and sunny. So I feel like, I mean, I can be festive in the nice weather, but I feel like I'm more festive when it's snowy. But so my goals were, watch holiday movies, finish my gift shopping, and spending time with friends and family. So again, kind of keep that in mind when you think of the goals. You really don't want more than about three, right? That's what we kind of say, because it's hard to really focus when everything's a priority and you have big long lists. It's hard to get things done. So hopefully you've got some ideas for that. And let's dive into our to-do section. And I found this cute little cartoon that has today, remember your inner superhero. Yes, you've got this, right? So I know sometimes we kind of feel like we have to be superheroes this time of year where we're kind of getting everything done. And I love Taylor said that her mom has been wearing jingle bells all week. It's hard not to feel festive when you jingle every time you breathe. That is hilarious. Maybe I need to get some jingle bells and put those on. I think I have some jingle bell earrings, so that would be good. Yeah, so that's a fun idea to do. But the other thing too is, remember, yes, you've got this, but it's also important to be realistic and give yourself those goals and these to-dos that maybe feel achievable, right? So the other thing, and I'm going to talk about both the to-dos and the habits and activities, because I think sometimes they kind of go together or they might be interchangeable. But first, let's look at those to-dos, some different ways we can do that. What I did last week was I just did like a big mind dump of all the things I needed to do that week. And then I sorted them into like the Eisenhower matrix, right? Which is this where you kind of find these things are important and urgent and you're going to do it now. Things that aren't important but they are urgent. So maybe there's a way I can delegate that. Things that are not urgent and not important, I can plan. There were some things I was like, okay, I can do that like next week, or I can do that at the end of the week, kind of planning for what made sense. And then things that weren't important and weren't urgent, it says you can drop it or you can delete it, right? So are there some things that you think you have to do that maybe you don't, right? Like maybe you think you have to make all these cookies and then you think, you know what? I don't actually have to make cookies for everybody. I could actually just buy the cookies, right? Kimberly saying, sometimes I think, okay, girl, you've got this, but at what cost? And I love that idea too, right? You don't have to do all the things. So really kind of making a big to-do list is sometimes good to go through and be like, okay, do I really have to do this? What's the cost of doing this? Could I do it later? Could I find someone else to do it? Or could I just drop it? Like the world probably will not end if I just drop it. The other thing I've seen people do with this section is they have things they need to do, things that they want to do, and things that they are kind of hoping for the week. So I love that idea where you're just really kind of thinking of these are things I need to do. So if you have an appointment or if you have a bill that you need to get paid or you have something that has kind of a time deadline, need to do those. Maybe there's some things you want to do. Maybe you want to watch some Christmas movies, holiday movies. Maybe you want to go over to a friend's house, those kinds of things. And you're hoping to like this one says, to feel at peace, to redo a room, like things that you're kind of hoping happen during the week. So that's another way you can tackle this section. Here's some other examples of things that folks have done. They have a now and later, which always reminds me of that candy. There was like the now and later candy. You could have some now and some later. They have a to-do and a ta-da list, right? So things that they did, and then also as they get things done, they kind of say ta-da. Work and home, if you've got like two different sets of to-do lists, you can have those. Maybe an AM and a PM list. So things you want to do in the morning, things you want to do in the evening, kind of maybe helping set up a routine. Yeah, Taylor's saying I like to give myself credit for stuff I will do anyway, like appointments, meetings, socials. Absolutely put those down so that you can check them off, right? They're things that you did. Sometimes I do something and it wasn't on my list, but you know what I do? I write it down and then I check it off because you know what? I did it. And so I want to give myself credit for that. Again, needs and wants, maybe it's school and personal. Right. Yes, definitely thinking of that dopamine hit as you check things off. So there's some examples there. You can also repurpose for different, if you want to do something different, maybe again, you want to do a bingo board. Those are always kind of fun. Maybe you want to think of instead of it's to do, it's to be ways that you want to be this week. You want to be grounded, compassionate, reflective, active, delighted, be kind, be calm, be purposeful. Maybe you want to look at these weekday self-care ideas for when you have no time, right? So here's something, if you have 60 seconds, you can do a little hand massage, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And maybe these are things you want to put in the to-do list to kind of help you remember that self-care and how important those things are. And then again, I'm going to talk about the habits and activities because I think sometimes if it's a to-do that has to happen maybe multiple times during the week, it might be better in the habit activity list. So some people will say, what's the difference between this and the habit wheel? The habit wheel are things we want to do every day. The habits and activities are more things that are specific to the week. So maybe there's something that, like on your to-do list, you have to maybe you have to buy 3 different presents or something for people. So maybe you have that listed as an activity and you have their goal is 3 because you have 3 different times, 3 different things you need to buy, something like that. Or you can use the habits and activities for maybe things that you want to say no to this week. You want to maybe delete some emails or declutter or try to go some days without sugar, right? Good luck with that during this time of year where sugary things are everywhere. Going through the refrigerator, cleaning things out, throwing away expired foods, spending no social media, right? Maybe it's no doom scrolling, no time on social media. Maybe you want to put down here that you want to look back at your habit wheel and your mood tracker and take a look and kind of check those things off as well. And you notice this one kind of down in the bottom right, how they've circled some of the days. So those are the days that they think, these are the days I want to do that. Yeah. And Jen's saying, I like the just one bite for sugary stuff, right? So trying to say no sugar sometimes sets us up for failure. But if we say, okay, if there's a cookie or there's a brownie or something that I want to have, I'm going to do just one bite and then I'm going to be done, right? So I let myself per minute. Taylor says, well, okay, maybe that'll work, but right. So kind of thinking these things, no dessert with dinner. They have that on there twice. Update the gratitude jar. So those are all different ways that you can kind of do this habit and activity planner. You can also just fill it in with stickers. If you think, you know what, the to-do list is enough, I don't need another place where I'm going to be writing things down. I'm going to just take that out. Maybe you're going to be out of town. I love the one kind of on the bottom right where they have, it looks like maybe they're going on vacation, have kind of a cityscape there, and they put, nope, like I'm not going to track anything on here. Remember during the holidays, things to remember from our Silk and Sonder Instagram. So different kinds of things about setting realistic expectations. It's okay to say no, those kinds of things. We have our December self-care ideas for things that you can, there's watch a favorite movie on there. So maybe something there. Yeah, and like Jennifer's saying in the chat, maybe you only do the Monday through Friday stuff in the habit and activity, those kinds of things. And then I also have the little habit building mistakes, right? So the mistakes that we make a lot of times when we try to come up with these habits or the to-dos even is trying to make too big of a change, trying to make too many habit changes. So now is not the time to put down 5 brand new habits or things that you want to do. These are really, you want to focus on, if you're wanting to try a new habit, maybe just one thing in there. All right. So that gives you some to-dos, that gives you the habits to work on. If you're still working on your goals, that certainly makes sense as well. Share in the chat, and then I'll scroll through these little examples so you can take a look at the different things that people have done, and we'll check back in here in just a few moments. I wanted to make sure that we have plenty of time to work on this next page too. So hopefully you've got those ideas for your to-dos, your habit and activity. And we're going to jump over to page 47 now. And one of our facilitators, Katie, likes to call this the B side. And I think that's kind of fun because sometimes we need it for specific things, and sometimes it becomes just kind of a scratch pad, or I put lots of bingos or something in there, depending on what's going on. So I think the meal plan is probably one of our most heavily repurposed sections. People are always kind of wanting to think of something fun to do with this. They either plan their meals somewhere else or they track their meals somewhere else, and so they don't need it. So people have used it as a symptom and health tracker, a daily debrief, daily scripture, schoolwork, homework, lesson plan, reminders, reflections, word of the day, right? Lots of fun things that you can do with this particular section. Maybe you want to make a chore list or write down journal prompts. Maybe you want to track your appointments and keep track of any of the socials that you're going to attend this coming week. Wardrobe tracker, again, making some sort of a checklist, lots of different things that you can do with this section here. Sometimes I just leave it blank and I use it for just various notes that come up throughout the day. Again, it's kind of like whatever looks good for you. 7 types of rest. Some people like to plan out those. Feels and meals, self-care plan, weekly reflection. Again, lots of different ways that you can think about how to use it. And yeah, like Jennifer's saying in the chat, you're invited to use the page as is, like as the suggestion here, but you can always change it up. And if you changed it up and it doesn't work for you, then next week, try something new, right? It's always have a new week there. And so mind body health plan, again, this is another place where people kind of experiment with different things that work for them. And I found this fun little graphic that has how to be unhappy, right? I don't think we really want to be unhappy, but then invert it for happiness. So if you're staying inside all day, probably going to be unhappy, get outside. Move as little as possible, move, walk, exercise, dance. Spend more than you earn, spend less than you earn. So these are some kind of fun ways to kind of think about that. So this might be a fun one to screenshot and kind of think about ways that you might want to incorporate some of these the little happiness stare ideas. Here's some other examples of things that folks have done. I really liked the fix a small annoyance at home that's been nagging me. I've read if something takes 2 minutes or less, you should just do it now, right? Instead of writing it down or thinking about it. You could always write it down as a ta-da, but sometimes we have that nagging little annoying thing like the lost button or the drawer that's stuck, or Tina's saying, what if your small annoyance is your husband? I cannot help you with that one. It probably would take more than 2 minutes, so you'll have to put it on the list. Maybe you have your mind body health plan. So something that you did well this week, some ways that you loved others, again, kind of fun, different ways to kind of use this particular section. And then the shopping list, right? Again, this is a fabulous place for bingos. I made a Christmas movie bingo board for me this week. And I want to see that movie Spirited, but it's on Apple. So maybe I'm going to see if there's a free trial of the Apple TV so I can see that one. But things like Scrooged and Charlie Brown Christmas and Is It Good, Taylor? Yeah, I've heard it's really good. So I definitely want to try to watch that. So it's kind of a fun little bingo board that you can kind of set up. And then the I am loving section at the bottom literally is just that, things that you are loving. Maybe it's books and tea or creativity or spending time with Silk and Sonder. Maybe it's baking Christmas cookies. Those are not my cookies, but we did bake lots of cookies. I didn't take any pictures of them. I don't know why I didn't do that because I was so busy baking them. So those kinds of things. So that's how we kind of use that section. So I'm going to scroll through some of these different ideas, take what you will. Feel free to suggest in the chat what you use these sections for, and then we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right, so how are we doing on this B side? I saw someone uses one of the sections for a social check-in, so like who they're checking in with on a daily or weekly basis, right? So giving a phone call, sending a text, those kinds of things. Kimberly says using hers as daily inspiration section, quotes, names of people, colors, stickers, right? Acts of kindness, any of those kinds of things, really kind of thinking about what do you want to maybe track? What do you want to work on during this next week? So hopefully feeling good, feeling ready to take on this next week, right? Again, I know it can be busy, but spending a little bit of time with us here tonight hopefully has helped you feel a little bit better about that. And remember, we do have, I think we have two set up socials tomorrow. We have a morning and an evening one. So you're always welcome to join those again if you need just a little bit more time to work on that and need maybe some different ideas for things. I did want to show just really quick because I know sometimes people like to see some ideas for ways that people are using the daily pages. So some people use kind of set up with highs and lows, a brain dump, self-care, household. They kind of break it into these sections. The person on the right has very lovely stickers and has kind of set things up with things that they want to do today. They have a fun little quote, today's plans. So different fun little ways to kind of set things up for the week. Again, here's some more fun ones. Somebody has kind of the Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday. So they kind of have a theme for each day and what they're working on. Person on the right has Bible verse, quotes, and affirmations that they're tracking for each day. I love that idea, something to kind of look back on each day or to look at each day, right, as you move forward, right? And then they also have in the one thing box, they have a chore that they want to do. I like to write the daily affirmation from the app in that section, but again, totally up to you. See what works for you, see kind of what you like. And as always, we like when you share your weekly planner, but I did also want to mention if you haven't had a chance to do page 39, which is the currently page, we always kind of throw that in the middle there in the middle of the month, but that's just a place where you can kind of keep track of snapshots of things you're loving, feeling, enjoying, anticipating, wishing, reading, watching, and planning. So if you're not sure what to put here, again, it's just a check-in, right? So that you can kind of, again, look back at the end of the year and look at these months and kind of see what you were doing with each section. Right, can definitely be something that's kind of fun. So as always, share those weekly planners with us in Sonder Club. We get all of our examples there. We love, love, love all the super creative Sonder fam folks who share those fun things with us. You never know who might be inspired by your picture of what you do. So we love it when you can share those. And thank you all so much for joining us. I swear this is the fastest hour ever, way faster than those treadmill hours or a work hour, right? Yeah, Brenda's saying it so fast. So we do still have the Refer a Friend program going on where if they sign up with your link, you get $10, they get $10, and Jen's throwing these links in as well. So you don't necessarily have to use the QR code. Still doing the upgrade to an annual subscription where you pay for that up front. Hopefully you're getting the emails because they're sending out like a daily email with all sorts of different sales that they're having. They've had the Thoughts Journal on sale. They've had the supplement on sale. Like they've had all kinds of things on sale. So hopefully you're getting those. And then you should be getting a survey where you can kind of let folks know what you'd like to see with the socials, what times are good for you. Be sure you let them know time zones, right, that you're in. And I think Jen also threw the YouTube link in the chat. We have way over 500 socials in there. So you can always, if you're feeling like you need a social and we don't have something scheduled, you can always go in and find another one, find your favorite facilitator and just kind of hang out with the recording there for, for a while. It doesn't have the chat, but it still is fun to kind of take a look at. And I think Jen is also, she's throwing in the link for the merch. We have a lot of different fun merch that's in there now. I think, and she also put in some of the different, she put in the Eventbrite link with some of the different socials. We've got the 2 tomorrow. And then we do have a year-end highlight and celebration jar social on Thursday. That should be super fun, working on some of those pages in your journal. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you have a fabulous week as you're getting ready. Only 2 more weeks left of the year, and then we'll be in 2024, believe it or not. So hope to see you again soon. Take care, everyone.
If you love somebody, better tell them why they're here, 'cause they just may run away from you. You'll never know quite when, well, then again it just depends on how long the time is left for you. I've had the highest mountains, I've had the deepest river. You can have it all, but life keeps moving. Take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world. Hey.